Thank you very much. Good morning, everybody. And I have to start with kudos for being able to fill a room on the second day of the tube strike. So thank you all for making the journey. Thank you to Julian and actually to all of the techUK team, not just for hosting this event today, but for all that you do in leading this agenda on both a local and a national presence. It's really important. As Julian said, I'm the Chief Executive for Cisco in the UK and Ireland. It's also my great privilege to have joined Julian and the techUK team on the board. I also sit as an advisor on the Board of Trade, which is very interesting post the reshuffle. I'm a non-executive in the NHS, and I'm the chair of an academy trust in Greater Manchester. Now, I share that so that you get a sense of how deeply vested I am in the prospects for the UK, and by proxy, how vested Cisco is as well. Now, as many of you will know, Cisco has been part of the fabric of innovation across the UK for over 3 decades now, actually. Now, from securing our nation's infrastructure to creating the first digital connections in schools, we're deeply invested in the power that technology has for improving the prospects of the nation. Now, our vision is really, really simple. We seek to power a more inclusive, secure, digitally connected future for all. And that is part of our manifesto across the UK. We do this by empowering communities, empowering citizens, and through the innovation and powerful technology that Cisco and our ecosystem provide. We do this securely, we do this responsibly, and we do this through a great expansive network of partnerships across the UK. Now, our impact across the UK is broad, but none so profound as it is within our public sector. And if I bring to life one of the initiatives that we drive, and if our head of healthcare in the UK was in the room, he wouldn't forgive me if I didn't start with mentioning our Lister Alliance. And this is a great example of how innovation and partnerships can come together. The Cisco-led Lister Alliance is a partnership across industry, across academia, across healthcare providers, that through innovation and living labs across the UK is changing outcomes for patient services. Now, whether that's putting technology in the hands of the elderly to tackle loneliness, to help them with their own healthcare provision, or whether that's connecting healthcare services across the UK, we're working that ecosystem to help innovate and drive improved patient services. Now, the government's ambition to build a modern and digitally enabled public sector isn't only crucial for where we stand today, but it is critical to the nation's future success. And whether that's through the AI Action Plan or the NHS 10-year plan, we know that digital technologies are at the core of all of these transitions and transformations. And it's critical to not only raising the productivity of the UK, which we know we are currently at a deficit, but it's also critical to improve the public services for our citizens everywhere. Now, with so many of these transformative strategies having been published in the first 12 months of this government, the time for action is now. Now, Julian said it twice, so I'm going to say it again, but that's why today's mantra of blueprint to brilliance has never been truer. And it's time for action for this community, the people in this room. It's time for us to act at pace across both industry and across government to put into action the opportunities to transform the lives and the services of the citizens across the UK. Now, we earlier this year, we outlined the building blocks for what we see as the critical foundations for the government, and this is alongside the Access Partnership, and it's closely aligned to the government's blueprint for modern digital government. Now, it anchors on 5 key pillars. The first is the importance of robust digital infrastructure, which I'll touch on. The second is the need not just for security, but for governance, particularly in the public sector space. It's a continued focus on skills development, and Julie and I have spent a lot of time talking about the skills agenda, and never has that been more important. It's the importance of building public trust. And finally, it's the strong partnerships with innovators. Now, Josh and the team on our stand have got the full report for anybody who'd like to see more of that, but I'm going to focus on just 3 of these key pillars. Now, the first is digital infrastructure. Now, I've got maybe 5 minutes in without mentioning AI, which is a first for anybody in Cisco. But for all this excitement around AI, the opportunity that exists within AI is not possible without the right infrastructure. That's without scalable, secure, and resilient infrastructure. Now, as AI agents join us in the workforce, as an organisation, you need to be able to securely hold and quickly transfer data, and you need to have the network capacity to manage those spikes in demands. Now, reliable connectivity, data management, and seamless integration, now they're not just desirable, they are absolute imperatives. And this starts without building out the data centres, but it is also about the richness of the connectivity across the UK to truly enable public services. Now, projects like the National Data Library, now they have the potential to transform how public data can be managed and leveraged to drive real value for citizens. And in addition, the recent State of the Digital Government review highlighted the risks of ageing infrastructure, which is a real challenge for us across the UK, particularly across public sector and government. Now, this poses an increased threat, particularly in the cyberspace, and this is something that we need to get ahead of. Recent research we conducted actually shows that the UK in particular is very exposed, and especially in sectors like healthcare and water and energy, which is a real risk for us as a nation. Now, the government has importantly acknowledged this, but we must go further. And as an industry, we can help. So if we talk about security, now digital transformation must go hand in hand with securely delivering that innovation. That has to start at the network, it has to start at the core. And we are proud to be the first industry partners to work with LASER, that's a laboratory of AI and security research, to ensure that as a nation we are investing in the research and the innovation that allows us to embrace the opportunities of AI, but do so in a secure and ethical way. It was really inspiring to hear the Prime Minister, Keir Starmer, say that the UK is all in on AI, and he's launched the AI Opportunities Action Plan. And Julian, this is potentially another one of those things that might be stalled with the recent reshuffle. We were due to meet with ministers on Monday to discuss exactly this, but we shall see how we get that off the ground. But within that action plan, we must push the boundaries. We must push the boundaries of what the UK represents in terms of AI and innovation, but we must do so with the right guardrails, and security and ethics absolutely being at the heart of that. Now, if we touch on the final point, which is digital skills, and that's not just about today, but that's how we enable the nation for the skills of the future. Now, AI, we know, is already changing the job landscape, and we hear quite a damaging narrative that says entry-level roles will be made defunct because of AI. AI will make roles redundant, and we really, as a UK, need to shift that narrative to be both pro-workforce and pro-AI. We really need to think about how AI sits alongside human factors to unlock human potential. We need to encourage the curiosity from education through to employee and workforce skills and upskilling, that AI becomes accretive to what we can do as individuals, that we use that as a way to truly unlock our potential. Now, we know that real change is very much dependent on delivering the right foundations. A secure AI-ready infrastructure is critical for the UK. Robust digital resilience, but importantly, that workforce that is equipped to adopt and embrace the tools and the opportunities that provides. Now, within the UK, we are really, really proud of our Networking Academy, and if it's not something you're familiar with, please do familiarise yourself with the great resources available. Every year we reach nearly 100,000 students now through our Networking Academy, and we've evolved the platform to ensure that we have a really robust foundational level of work-ready skills with a real focus on AI. And our programme is constantly evolving. We work with a number of government departments to actually augment this to ensure that it's part of your development opportunities and capabilities. And we work right through from schools to higher education to ensure that we're building these key digital skills into the curriculum as much as we can, because raising the base level of digital competency for citizens across the UK isn't desirable, it is an imperative. We're incredibly passionate about it, and we're really, really proud of the role that Cisco plays. One of my predecessors, Phil Smith, is now the chair of Skills England, and alongside techUK, it's one of the initiatives that we're really going to be driving to ensure that we are taking the nation with us and really empowering the workforce of the future to adopt technology in a way that other nations already are. Now, I'm really proud of all the work that Cisco does within the UK public sector, and we appreciate the partnerships that we have across the room. We really welcome government's ambitions to use technology to drive not just productivity, but that real focus on improving citizen experience across the UK. Now is the time to move from strategy to action, and we, I guess, join Julian in that call to arms. Let's move from blueprint to brilliance. Let's work as industry, as government, as public services, as a collective, to really take the moment that is now to transform what that means for citizens across the UK and help us build that smarter state. And with that, I thank you all for your time. I hope you have a wonderful day, and I'm going to hand back to Julian.